John took my ex-wife Pam and my son Emmett inside the amusement park. It was clear they're going to spend the day here, which means I have a chance now. It's been 2 weeks since I'm stalking them. First, I needed to handle her, so I went behind her. Even though the park was crowded, the washroom was clear. After Pam got inside a bathroom stall, I locked the main washroom door from the inside so no one can get in.
I would never fall in love again until I found her. I said I would never fall unless it's you I fall into. I was lost within the darkness, but then I found her. I found you.
Look how she's singing. Which ruined my world and now trying to be happy? I won't let that happen. I opened my bag and took out a plastic bag. Just when she opened the stall door, she screamed, seeing me.
Mike! How did you get inside?
Did you miss me, sweetheart? Was it me you were singing for just now?
Oh my God! Help! Help! Please! Somebody!
But I didn't let her finish. I put the bag on her face and started choking her. She could hardly breathe. Her body started to shake. She kicked her hands and legs in the air, but I didn't let her go. After struggling for 7 minutes straight, Pam got numbed. Her lifeless body fell on my chest. I gave her one last hug and seated her body on the toilet seat. I left the plastic bag on her head so her flustered face gets a cover. They say that when you die of asphyxiation, all the blood in your body rushes to your face, making it red. I closed the stall door and came out of the washroom. Luckily, there was no one outside waiting to get in. Now, to my main target, my son, Emmett. I couldn't spot him at first, but then I heard his voice.
Dad, look, I'm flying!
Emmett was riding on the unicorn with other kids. He had a big smile. John waved at him standing at a few distances, but what struck me as a shock was that my son was calling someone else Dad. No wonder. Pam and John brainwashed him these past 2 weeks. Emmett, just be here. I need to look for your mom. She's taking quite some time. Don't go anywhere, I'll be back soon. John left the scene and I finally saw a ray of hope. I can talk to my son now. I walked close to him, and when he noticed me, his face changed. The smile vanished, and he watched me with scared eyes. Emmett? Honey? It's Dad. The ride came to an end, and Emmett got down from it.
You're not my dad. Mom wants me to stay away from you.
No. Look, Mom was wrong. She's just angry.
But you heard her. I heard her crying when you came home tipsy.
I just drank a lot of orange juice, Emmett. Doesn't make Daddy a bad guy. I'll explain everything, but first, let me buy you an ice cream. Is that okay? Emmett looked around and then thought for a second.
Okay.
Good boy. Come with me. After a long time, my son held my hand. My witch wife filled his innocent brain with lies, and now he thinks I'm some villain. I bought her ice cream and sat down on the bench next to the Ferris wheel. I brushed my hand over his head with great care. Emmett, will you like to go somewhere great?
Where?
To this big house with a fish pond. You can feed them all day.
But what about Daddy? He said not to leave the park.
He's not your dad, Emmett. I am.
But the police said you're bad for us.
Well, they're wrong. And so is your mother. But she won't be trouble anymore. Come on, let's go. I grabbed Emmett's hand and got up to walk away, but he didn't get up with me.
No!
No. It's me, your dad, boy. Come with me.
No, I don't want to go with you. Leave me.
But why? I'll do anything for you. You're my son.
Leave me or I'll scream.
From the corner of my eyes, I saw 3 security guards looking at me and Emmett. If he screams, I'll get in trouble. So, it has come to this now. There's no other way then. Okay, you don't have to leave the park. Would you like to take one last ride with your real dad? Please?
Which ride?
How about the Ferris wheel?
But it scares me.
Oh, don't worry. I'll hold your hand. We got on the Ferris wheel. The ride started to move up. Just then, I heard John screaming. "There he is! He killed my wife and now trying to hurt my son! Emmett!" The security guards gathered under the Ferris wheel. We were at the top of the wheel from where the entire park was visible, but before they could get us down, I screamed. "Don't take it down or I'll throw the kid! No! Stop!" Emmett started crying, but I was all determined. This time, I'm not letting my son leave me. I'm going to end my life and take him with me. But things don't always go as planned. As I grabbed Emmett's hand and ready to jump, he suddenly pushed me in fear. I lost my balance and his small hand slipped from my sweaty palm. While falling, I could see his teary eyes watching me one last time. I fell from the top of the Ferris wheel, but I didn't die. I now live in this mental institution. I can't walk or move. I sit in a wheelchair the entire day. I was charged with first-degree murder and child abduction, but my poor condition made me skip death row. I lost my family and my life. I just don't have hope to get my son back anymore. After all, I was a deranged father and an abusive husband. I did all the wrong things, and I hope those who are watching my story don't make the same mistakes as me. Hold that family close to your chest as long as you have the time. I have always hated mirrors. Ever since I was a kid, I found them creepy. There was something terrifying about looking into one and seeing yourself staring right back, with the same hair and the same smile, but it was never quite you, was it? It was always wrong somehow, inverted. And if you looked long enough, that reflection started to look like a completely different person. These thoughts ran through my mind as I stood outside the building labeled House of Mirrors. It was part of the act of some rundown carnival that came through my city once or twice every year. Every time they rolled around with their tents and banners, I'd hold out hope that they'd finally brought something interesting along. Every time, I was treated to the same boring acts they had last year and the year before that. A strong man who was too old to carry himself around these days, a phony oracle who looked her clients up on Facebook while she prepared for the seance. It was all hokey anyway. "Are you gonna go in or what?" It was Ben, my friend from school. He always came along with me for stuff like this. What for? We both know it's gonna be stupid.
Yeah, and? We paid $10 to get in here. Might as squeeze every last cent out of it.
Yeah, might as well. An old man ran out of the building at that moment. He knelt in the dirt beside us and sifted some sand through his fingers. There was something vaguely familiar about him, although I couldn't quite place where exactly it was that we'd met. No, this is all wrong. I have to go back. With that, he ran back into the House of Mirrors. I exchanged a look with Ben. What do you think? Is he a part of the act? Well, if I know, but at least there's finally something interesting in this dump. I had never been into the House of Mirrors before. Like everything else in this place, I had assumed it lacked any real excitement. But as I stood outside it on this day, it beckoned to me. And despite myself, I answered its call. I stepped inside the gaping mouth of the creepy character painted outside the building and got lost in the maze of mirrors within. My reflections surrounded me on every surface at every corner, each one staring creepily at me. I felt like I was being watched, followed. I felt my heart begin to race faster. Hello? Is there someone else in here? God damn it. I wandered around the House of Mirrors for a little while longer, trying to find my way to the exit. But with every step I took, I felt a cold fear creep in, closer and closer. Screw this, I'm out of here. I turned around, hoping to trace my footsteps back to the entrance, but I soon found that I was lost. The narrow passages I had walked through just moments ago had disappeared into the mess of mirrors, and I was left alone, surrounded by a dozen versions of myself. Ben? I need help! I can't find my way back! Ben? Ben can't hear you anymore. No one can. I spun back around quickly, trying to follow the sound of the voice, but just as suddenly as it had come, it was gone. Perhaps it was the old man we had seen run into the building earlier, and this was all just part of the experience. Fine, I'll play along. I spent a while more wandering the maze of mirrors until I found my way out. Finally. I practically ran towards the exit, my mind and body not wanting to spend any more time inside this building. When I emerged, however, there was no sign of Ben on the other side. I tried asking around for him, but everyone on the outside ignored me. Hey, have you seen my friend? He was just standing right there like 5 minutes ago. Hey, hello? It creeped me out a bit, to be honest. Maybe my breath smelled weird, or maybe this was all just part of some elaborate practical joke being pulled on me by someone. After asking around for a few minutes and getting no response from anyone, I decided to head home. Chances were Ben just got bored and went home. Everything seemed odd somehow, inverted. Cars were on the wrong side of the road. Billboards, too. Taxi! Hey, taxi! The cab I called just sped past me, without any signs of slowing down, and it was empty. I started to get worried. The voice I'd heard back in the House of Mirrors came back to me. Ben can't hear you anymore. No one can. I ran home as fast as my legs could carry me. I bumped into people on the road, but for some reason did not seem to notice or care. I started to get the feeling that something was very wrong. I arrived at my house soon after and peered in through the windows. My heart froze. No freaking way. There on the dining table, eating dinner with the rest of my family, was me. Myself, another Colin. But it was different somehow. Off. Just like the reflections back in the House of Mirrors. But the rest of my family didn't suspect a thing. I watched the thing disguised as myself until it finished dinner and headed upstairs. Then, I snuck in after it. I took a deep breath and confronted it in my room. Who are you and what the hell are you doing in my house? The thing that was not me laughed, like I had just told a joke. I reached for a baseball bat in a corner. What are you gonna do with that? Hit me? You can't. You're nothing more than a reflection now. My reflection. Just as I once was to you. What are you talking about? I'm real. To be honest, I didn't sound very convincing. We both know you aren't. No one can hear you anymore. You exist in another plane now, inverted. You noticed it too. I looked in the mirror beside me, but found that I had no reflection. I was the reflection, and the thing that wore my face laughed again. I have your life now. Your dreams, your hopes, your wants. I am you. No! 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 I charged at the figure and swung my bat at its head, but the effect of all my strength, all my rage, was nothing more than a crack in the mirror. Hey guys, my name is Luis. If there's one thing that I'm proud of, it's being Mexican. In my country, we take our traditions very seriously, and the Day of the Dead is one of the most important. For this Day of the Dead, we decided to go to an amusement park. The park was themed on the Day of the Dead, and all the employees were dressed up as skulls or ghosts. The only one of my friends who seemed uncomfortable was Pedro, who kept repeating that this was very disrespectful and that the dead could take revenge. Anyway, we decided to ignore him and we all went to the bumper cars. At first, we were having fun, but the cars started to increase their speed. The game went on, but suddenly my belt mysteriously broke. When I tried to fix it, I swear an empty car accelerated towards me and hit me with all its might. Not having my seatbelt buckled, I was thrown out of the car and got hurt. The employees of the place stopped the game and 2 men with medical badges ran toward me, but I got up and told them that everything was fine. I just opened my knee a little bit. My friends got out of their cars and came running to see me. Pedro looked terrified. Guys, this is not a coincidence. It's the dead. We shouldn't be here. This is not honoring them. This is making fun of them.
Oh, come on, Pedro, you're exaggerating. You watch too much TV.
While my friend was talking, none of them noticed that one of the cars had its lights on. The car accelerated violently, and before I could warn him, it ran over Hector. The car accelerated so violently that his body broke apart and flew off in pieces. I wanted to get up and run away, but the doctor not only had not reacted to Hector's death, but he violently pressed his finger on the wound of my knee.
Ow! Ow! You're hurting me!
The doctor didn't seem to be doing this to me on purpose. It was like he was hypnotized. My friends tried to push him away, but he seemed to be obsessed with squeezing my wound. Pedro kicked him with all of his might, and the doctor finally fell. As we approached him, we noticed that he wasn't moving. We walked carefully to where he was, and when we saw him, we were baffled. His gaze seemed lost. Meanwhile, his fingers kept moving, as if they were still squeezing my wound. To our surprise, no one seemed to care about what we were experiencing. Everyone in the park was running around in despair. The rides were out of control. Everyone was running over people or falling. All the park employees who were in costumes or skull masks were chasing people. They all seemed hypnotized, staring blankly, like the doctor who was hurting me seconds before.
I told you, it's the dead. This day is to honor them. These people are making fun of them.
Guys, maybe I'm crazy, but I think he's right.
Are you saying there are ghosts in this place?
How do you explain this then? Is it all a coincidence? Is everyone going crazy and the games are failing by chance?
Whatever it is, we have to get out of here or we'll end up like Hector. It's true. Come on, the exit's this way. Melina and I followed Pedro. The way to the exit seemed quite clear, but something surprised us. A mechanical bull near the exit started to spark, and after a few seconds, it generated a big fire that spread to the entrance of the park. People piled up at the exit, and more obstacles were on fire. We started to avoid them and to overcome the people. The exit was very close, but in front of our eyes, Pedro fell. We tried to pick him up, but people were running faster and faster, and it was impossible to bend down to pick him up. We could make some space to lift him, but it was too late. Pedro was dead. In those seconds that he fell, people had run over him, crushing him to death. Melina tried to carry him, but stopped her. He was no longer breathing. Melina was only carrying a corpse on her shoulders. Melina, we have to go now. This'll burn.
No! Louis, I can't leave him!
You must! He's already dead!
You don't understand! I can't leave him! I love him! Run! You go! Save yourself! I'll stay!
I wanted to force Melina to come with me, but she had already made her decision. I ran as fast as I could, and when I turned around, I saw how 3 amusement park employees cornered Melina and started stabbing her. My friend fell to the ground. Still not satisfied, they kept stabbing her again and again. I could only keep running. I was almost at the exit. I had made it. I was escaping. As I went through the exit door, I looked up, and the only thing I remember was seeing a huge burning sign fall on top of my head.
Ah!
And that's how I woke up. It was all a dream. It was so real. The crash with the bumper car was worse than I thought, as I had hit my head and passed out. The doctors were able to take me to the hospital, but I got up and promised to leave.
Hey guys, we can't leave yet.
Are you crazy? Louis almost died.
But he's okay now. Come on, let's go on the roller coaster at least once.
No, don't you guys understand that Luis's accident wasn't a coincidence? This place is evil. Dead people don't like it here. Hey guys, I'm fine. I can go on the roller coaster.
Are you sure, Louis?
Oh, come on. What could happen?
I wanted to tell them about the dream, but I decided not to. I'll do it another day. Now, I just want to enjoy the roller coaster and go to rest.